But first, the repercussions of Israel's raid on a convoy of ships bound for Gaza are still being felt. Turkey's Prime Minister has again hit out, branding Israel's policies on Palestinians as intolerable. We've heard conflicting reports of what happened that night. Now, exclusively, the captain of the Mavi Marmara gives us his account.
Geminin üzerine ilk saldırdıkları zaman özellikle üst güvertede.
When they first came down on the top deck, the passengers formed a human shield. Without any warning, the soldiers were shooting as they came down on the ropes. The passengers weren't warned at all. I was on the bridge and I saw them very clearly firing gunshots. They came down also throwing gas bombs. Only after the soldiers started attacking the passengers did they take away the soldiers' guns. The passengers on the boat in no way attacked the soldiers. They defended themselves, and that's natural.
We've seen sticks, bars. I mean, they released pictures of sticks, bars, knives. Were these in any way prepared beforehand for the eventuality of conflict, or were they just picked up as and when Israel came down?
İsrail'in gösterdiği silah diye kullandığımızı gösterdiği şeyler.
The things Israel showed as weapons on the ship are actually very funny for people who know something about ships. What they showed as weapons were axes. We had 8 fire emergency stations on the ships. All of these axes and tools were collected on the ship. We also have a lot of tools in the engine room. There are a lot of screwdrivers and hammers that were collected. And we have 5 cafeterias that can feed all 600 people on board. And we have 2 other separate kitchens for the crew. All the knives in all 7 cafeterias were collected. All of them were displayed as weapons. The chains we used on the ship were all collected as well. Some of those were taken for self-defense by some of our friends at that moment. It happened at that moment when they were trying to defend themselves. It's not something that was planned beforehand. When they first saw the boats, out of panic, they started collecting things. But all of these knives and axes, they were all collected after the Israelis came on board. There's accusations that these were all prepared in order to attack, but this is definitely a lie.
Just to be absolutely certain, there were no weapons whatsoever beforehand. Once this was the ship checked completely for any weapons whatsoever?
İstanbul'dan ve Antalya'dan çıkarken
while we were departing from Istanbul and Antalya, we specially requested special X-ray machines for customs clearance from police forces. We asked for this in order to avoid provocation. It was to prevent weapons or any sort of substance getting onto the boat. All of our passengers who were boarding from the Antalya port went through the X-ray machine and police control. After they went through the X-ray, there was another security check on the boat. Even the passengers that were transferred from the other ship, the Challenger 2, weren't allowed on without having their luggage searched. I was the one who especially gave this order. There were no weapons that were prepared outside the boat whatsoever. There was nothing that could be used as a weapon. For defense purposes, there is one thing, and that's the bulletproof vests that Israel put on show. The bulletproof vests were to be used when entering Gaza, but besides that, they were also intended to be used for doctors and journalists in case of an attack. There were also some gas masks, because Israel has used gas before. Besides that, we didn't have any other things in preparation for an attack. We didn't prepare because we never expected such an inhumane attack.